Hey guys, welcome to Mad Scientist BBQ. I'm Jeremy Yoder. Today I'm doing something that I've never done on the channel before. I'm going to be cooking some spare ribs on an offset, and we're going to bring in an expert to cook spare ribs on a pellet grill. So for all those of you out there who've said, you know what, I'll put my pellet grill food up against yours any day of the week and twice on Sunday, well, now we have somebody who's actually willing to do it. I've offered it many times, but we had somebody take the challenge, and he drove in from Kansas City. He's done a lot of barbecue competitions and designed some smokers. So Eddie, you want to come on and tell us a little bit about the pellet grill you have and maybe some of your history?
My history goes back to 1990 with pellet grills, going on 33 years. Redesigned them in about 95 and started making the competition pit, but I started cooking barbecue competitions in 87. Got a couple of world championships under my belt.
No big deal.
I got a few awards.
Okay. So tell us about the grill you brought, because this is something new that you've been working on, right?
Yes, this is the PG-1000i from Cook Shack. Me and Cook Shack hooked up in 2002. We build commercial cookers and backyard pits and grills. This is actually a patented design. I call it like an offset airflow. Looking really forward to putting out some of this championship barbecue.
I'm looking forward to this too, because I've offered it many times to people. It's like, okay, let's cook side by side. I'm not interested in anybody winning or losing. I just want to see what the difference really is from somebody who knows their way around a pellet grill. I've done some stuff with pellet grills, but I'm by no means an expert. I've never used it in any kind of competition, nothing like that. And so we're each going to cook 2 racks of ribs today. Here we have a savory rub. It's just 16 mesh black pepper and some Lowry seasoned salt. And then you brought this in all the way from Kansas City. What do we have here?
That is what I call my championship seasoning.
Have you won any championships with it?
Oh, that is the stuff.
Ah, okay.
Right
All
there.
right.
Now, in competition barbecue, there's different places I changed up some technique and add some things to it. You know, I won the world championship ribs. I think it was in '99. I won a perfect rib score.
Wow.
But I was cooking baby back spo at that time. Good ribs are good ribs, and we're not here necessarily like who's going to win what. We're just going to see, is it a top quality rib?
Yeah, I think that's the much more important question. Oftentimes people will ask me, what kind of smoker should I get? And even though I don't really use pellet smokers very often, I often recommend pellet smokers because I ask them a couple of questions. Do you want to ruin your whole day? If the answer is no, an offset is the wrong answer for you. And then it's what kind of level of convenience do you want? Do you want to start some charcoal and try to add wood chunks? If you don't want to do that, but you still want barbecue, then a pellet grill is probably the right choice. And for this one, you're kind of doing things a little bit differently than other pellet grills on the market. So we're going to check that out. I've won the backyard championship in my backyard. I was the only contestant. But I think, you know, that's important for the viewers out there to know. We have some Berkshire ribs, so good quality ribs. We're going to get those prepped and get them on these smokers.
Great looking Berkshire ribs here, especially this one here. Look how well marbled that is, man. So what I'm going to do is come down here on the end of the rib. Got a kind of a heavy fat cover on it there. We're going to trim just a little bit on. Take a little edge off of it up here. I don't do very much with it. I do try to square up the end on here because this will just get kind of thin and be hard and crusty out here if I don't. So we'll take that off. Come over here to the back. These are just a hair bit stiff yet. Come up here and see this flap on here. Some people will call this the brisket of the rib. I'll take that off because this will end up getting kind of tough. Then I do peel the membrane. Always a big thing. Should I peel them or not peel them? Well, I go ahead and peel them because I want to get that flavor and more smoke flavor on the back side of the rib. Now sometimes it's best to grab a hold of it. A piece of paper towel helps a ton. But we got a hold of it okay. But really that's ready to season. Nice and square. Typical Berkshire is going to have a good lot of nice fat in it. Man, I can't wait till dinner time.
Eddie taught me a new technique that is brilliant. You place a glove around the bottle of seasoning so that you can grab it with a dirty hand and it doesn't matter. You know how many thousands of gloves I've wasted because I didn't know this? So that's worth the price of watching this video, which is free anyway. But look at that. There's little udders at the bottom, but it works. I want to tell you about today's sponsor, DealDash. DealDash is an auction website that's been around for about 15 years, and it's a way to get some smoking deals on products that you're really interested in. So what's the catch? You have to buy your bids up front. You place a bid and you increase the price of that item by 1 cent. And the auction resets every 10 seconds. So if after 10 seconds there's no new bids, you win that item. If you're savvy about it, you can get some really, really good deals and pay a heck of a lot less than the sticker price for whatever those items are. So if you're after tools, or sometimes they do cars or game consoles or even smokers and grills, you can check those out on DealDash and hopefully save a ton of money. So is DealDash for everybody? No, but if you have the time and you have the savvy to really make the most out of your bids, you can treat it kind of like a game, and you'll know when to bid, how long to bid, when to start bidding, all that stuff, and you can get something you're really interested in for a much lower price than you're going to find it anywhere else. And if you don't win at auction with these bids, or if you don't like it for any reason, you can contact DealDash and they will give you a refund, no questions asked. So the risk is very, very small. But if you play it smart, like when you first sign up, you have an opportunity to get 50% off of your first purchase, you can win some really cool stuff. I just searched tools. Here is a multi-tool bag that sold for 38 cents. The buy it now price for that was $130. And whoever won that is probably real happy with that. Other tools here, belt sander, we have an all-weather plastic outdoor storage, power generator, all kinds of stuff. So if you're willing to spend the time and put together a strategy to win these at extraordinarily low prices, DealDash is 100% for you. So go to DealDash.com/Mad Scientist and get 100 free bids with your first bid pack purchase. Go start saving right now.
I want to put plenty of flavor on it. Now the dark color, red color in this is a Hungarian paprika. Probably a little dark nowadays for competition cooking, because this rib's going to get pretty dark in color. My key is I want 30 minutes of set time after I season it up. You'll hear some people will put a little water on there, or they'll use some sort of a binder, but the salts and sugars in here will get it to start to sweat. Really what we're doing is trying to let those seasonings start, because they're dehydrated seasonings, and they'll start activating with the moisture content coming up from the meat.
I'm going to prep these ribs like I always do. I will actually not be removing the membrane. I'm going to score the membrane, and we're going to season it really simply. And so we have two ends of the spectrum: competition world championship winning barbecue rub, and here we have Lawry's and some 16 mesh black pepper. We have care taken to remove the membrane, and it's just rapidly score them. We're going to see when the rubber meets the road what the differences are. So one is a very simple approach, and the other is not actually super complicated, but it's more complex than what I'm doing. Good enough. Okay, we have these 4 racks seasoned up. I'm going to take one that Eddy seasoned with his championship rib rub, and I'm going to take one that I seasoned with Lawry's and 16 mesh black pepper. I'm going to cook 1 rack of each, and Eddy's going to cook 1 rack of each. So we're going to have kind of 4 different ribs that we're going to be taste testing at the end.
Okay, get ready to put the ribs on, so I'm going to supercharge my flavor enhancer with some pellets. Okay, it sets right over the fire pot. This is the flame tamer, it goes on top of it. Bone side down. Come down here and I'm going to turn this to 275. Okay, we're a couple hours in our rib cook, and it's time for us to make the glaze that I'm going to put on the ribs at the end. What I'm going to use is the Cook Shack barbecue mild sauce. I like to thin it down with a little bit of apple juice. Then we're going to sweeten it up a little bit with some organic raw honey. All we're going to do is put that in the pan, mix it up, and then it's going to go on the pit and cook for the rest of the time while we're finishing the ribs up, because I wanted to get all that good flavor that's going on inside the smoker. This is what takes a while. I'll do this mixing for about 4 to 5 minutes.
So Eddie made up a sauce, and I was thinking, well, I gotta make something. So we did an Instagram live, and we asked the people, and you guys chimed in, and people were saying no sauce, and some people were saying do the Bourbon Glaze. And so I thought we would do the Bourbon Glaze. So shout out to Evan Leroy from Leroy and Lewis. And it's got 3 ingredients. We have sugar, we have apple cider vinegar, and of course, bourbon. And Eddie says I have to cook it in the smoker, so I can't put it on a burner. And so I went and got this pan that I stole from my wife. Sorry, Erica. Also, thank you, Erica. So we're gonna mix these 3 ingredients together. We're gonna add it to the ribs to give it some sweetness, but it's not going to cover up any of the flavors that we've worked really hard to create in the cooking process. So I'm gonna dump in some sugar. As you guys can tell, I'm kind of eyeballing it. Now vinegar. I'm doing my very sophisticated mixing. Are you impressed, Eddie? By these mixing skills? You don't use the good stuff for cooking.
No, no.
We're not gonna throw in any like Pappy Van Winkle or anything like that. In case you guys are wondering, we're just over 3 hours in. Let's take a look at the ribs now. All right, we're gonna check back in a few minutes when we wrap these up. So I'm gonna wrap them 2 different ways. The kind of savory ribs, I'm gonna wrap in butcher paper and some tallow. And then the more competition style ribs, I'm gonna wrap in foil just to get everything nice and tender. But I think they're both gonna be really good. We're just gonna see which ones we prefer.
About 4 hours and 15 minutes in this cook. We're gonna take a good solid look at these. Got a nice pullback on them. See how the flex is? We're starting to see separation. And that is perfect. We're going to wrap this one first. I like to roll the top and then bend the ends in. And I'm going to put this in the warming drawer. I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap that one too. It's just a hair tight, but I think that one had a little more, other one had a little more fat content into it. Again, in the warming drawer. Warming drawer is running 50% of the temperature set at. When I got this set at 275, about 135 or so in the warming drawer, which is perfect for holding. Still making glaze here, the sauce, and what I want to do is stir in the top part that's gotten more smoke on it. So I'm adding flavor.
Eddie just wrapped his ribs up, so I'm gonna wrap mine too. The ones with the competition rub, I'm going to wrap in aluminum foil, and the ones that are the way I like to make them at home, I'm gonna wrap in butcher paper with some tallow. So we're gonna have 2 very different styles here. And then when they're done getting to the right tenderness, I'm going to unwrap them both and kind of let the outside set a little bit. And then the one with the competition rub, I'm gonna use the glaze that I made. So we'll have 2 very different ribs to compare, both cooked on the offset. And then we have 2 different ribs on the pellet cooker also. So we're gonna have some common denominators running through these rib cooks, but I think we're gonna have 4 separate experiences with these. We got effectively 0 pullback on the bone. Hopefully I get some here. They smell good. Look at the convenience. All right, so these have good color. I'm gonna add some of that tallow, keep this really juicy, and it's gonna be kind of like a confit with these ribs. Try that. And here's the package. So I'm going to run these at about 275 for the rest of the cook. So probably about another 45 minutes wrapped, and then I'm going to unwrap them, glaze one, and kind of just reset the outside on the other. All right, the ribs with the competition rub I think are basically done. So I'm going to hit them with this glaze. So sugar, apple cider vinegar, and bourbon. Back in the smoker. They're getting close. They need a little bit more time, but they're starting to look nice.
I just took out this pan of glaze we've had cooking down in the pit, getting all this nice smoke flavor in it, and I'm going to stir it in right now. I'm going to go ahead and glaze both of these. So we're truly going to have 4 different types of ribs for people to taste. This will be extremely interesting. What I want to do is I want to do a grilled finish to the bottom of the ribs.
I like it.
So I just changed the grill to 350 degrees, let that char boiler come up, and then I'm going to grill the bottom of this so we can get that little bit of char barbecue-y taste. So what I'm looking at is when people pick the rib up, and first thing they're going to probably do is bite it with the arc like this in the bottom, and then first thing that's going to be on their tongue is going to be that. That's in competition barbecue. You really want to get an idea and flavor it, like on chicken thighs or whatever. Anything we're putting in that box, you want to season the side that's going to hit the tongue first, the heaviest. That's where you're going to get one chance to make a major impression if you're cooking competition barbecue. Okay, I'm going to grill the bottom, do a little sear to add a little more flavor to that sauce right here. And we're going to give it about 30 seconds. All right, we got about 30 seconds of sear on the back side of these ribs, and we're going to put it back on here and go to hold. And I'm going to do the other one. Same thing. Got a nice little fire, a little char. And we'll let it tack up. Give it about 2 or 3 minutes, let it tack up on there really good, and we'll be ready to cut them.
All right, so the 4 racks of ribs are now done. First, we have these 2 that were cooked on the offset. We have seasoned salt and black pepper, then championship rub on the offset. And then what did you do with these 2, Eddie?
This is salt and pepper with barbecue glaze that I made. And then this is championship rub with the barbecue glaze I made.
Okay, with your cooker and your pellets,
and
your
this,
process.
yeah, this is my pellets process, the whole bit's over here.
Okay. Eddie, for competitions, did you use an electric knife?
For brisket, sometimes I would, because it's easier if it got a little overcooked.
For ribs, did you slice bone side down or up?
Exactly like you, so I could see the bone and get a good cut.
Even doing it this way, sometimes I hit bones.
I'm with you. It's not an exact science the way those bones are in them.
Thank you for coming to do this with me.
Well, thank you for having me. This has been wonderful.
I think I was juicy.
Man, they look wonderful.
Yeah. Got little bundles of ribs. Dude, those look... yeah, that rack was the ringer.
Yes, it was. Until I did that.
They were so marbled. Yeah, they look so good. Man, I'm looking forward to this. So our special taste tester is my next door neighbor, Dustin. He isn't an offset smoker guy like me. He's not a pellet cooker guy like Eddy. So he's got no skin in the game, so he's gonna give you his honest feedback. The only rule is, he's gotta be honest. So with all that being said, Dustin, why don't you take it away and tell us what you think?
All right. Got a really good flavor. Real strong salt and pepper taste on that, which I love. Good sweet taste. I think I'm liking the salt and pepper a little bit better than the glaze on this one.
Do you notice a difference in smoke flavor between those two?
I would say almost salt and pepper, I guess.
Yeah.
Probably has a little bit smokier taste to it. Let's try it again just to make sure.
Sure.
Yeah, I would say it's got a smokier taste.
Okay. Now you're gonna move on to World Championship ribs.
Looking
No
forward
pressure.
to this. Delicious. Doesn't seem as sweet as this one. Not getting a lot of smoke flavor. I think this one still has the most smoke.
World Championship ribs.
Saucy. It's a really good taste. This one's kind of sweet and savory. It's got a really good flavor. And it's a tough draw. The first one and the fourth one would be my go-tos.
Totally opposite spectrum.
Yeah, those are the most different ones.
Mm-hmm.
but that's
But they are, but they're
I like that.
they're so different. They're
Yeah.
both delicious. It's almost of what you're craving at the moment, I guess.
interesting.
Now think about it. If you only took one bite,
One bite, man, that would be tough. I might have to go with the number 4.
That completely makes sense.
that's a one bite rib.
Yeah,
That's what that is. Yeah, because that's what that rib's designed for in a judging table.
Yeah. So you agree with the World Championship rib judges? So that's good company to be in, I guess.
yeah.
So yeah, I guess it worked out.
Yeah.
All right. So first up, I guess we're going to do it in the same order. We have sweet and salt, black pepper, on the offset.
Great bite. Look at the moisture on that bone.
When I cook ribs for me, I do it like this because I can eat a whole bunch of them, and it's not quite so heavy. Really simple, but I gravitate toward simple. You know. Mm-hmm. So.
That might be the best rib I've ever had. Not joking.
But she hasn't had number 4 yet, so.
Well, that's good. I mean, she's definitely going on at how you running that pit.
I'm actually really curious to see how these turned out. Definitely some smoke ring action, and then we had kind of sticky bourbon glaze on the top. A lot more complexity in the rub.
Oh yeah.
That's really coming through. Nothing's overpowering about what's in the rub. Some savory flavors in there, the right amount of salt, I think.
That's good. This I think would make a really good comp rib
Really?
because you don't have that sauce. It's got that sweet tone to it,
Yep.
but you're not got that sauce being stuck to you. So the rub's really showing through.
We're also using good quality ribs. So
Oh yeah,
that
yeah.
helps.
There's no doubt about it. That Berkshire rib is top notch. Those are off the chart good.
All right, I'm gonna grab one of these. We're not at World Championship level yet. That glaze is really good. And the sweetness, taste the honey, and the underlying complexity of the rub too. That's really good. On that bite, I got some of the char you were talking about. I totally get that, yeah. So it's like, just came off of a grill. I get smoke flavor. It's not overpowering. I've used a pellet tube before to get more color and more smoke flavor on a pellet smoker, and I didn't like the flavor that it gave. I didn't get any of that with
It
this.
didn't have an aftertaste to it.
Exactly, yeah.
Right. Would you consider that getting closer to like what an offset is?
Yeah, I think definitely closer. Maybe like the smoke profile isn't as complex maybe as with an offset, like burning whole logs, but the smoke flavor is definitely there. I want to try it with the rub and the glaze. Lowry's and pepper didn't really stand up as well to the glaze. It's like glaze, like spirit fingers, rainbows, unicorns, fireworks, but I didn't really taste the flavors from the Lowry's
Right.
and pepper. But I think with your rub, it's gonna like step up to the plate and match that.
Right.
I've been eyeing this one for a while. This rib is juicy. Oh, you have a gift, my friend. Man, that's good.
I actually get a little more smoke flavor on this one.
I do too. This one we just had?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
This rack had more fat content to it, and I think that helped pick up the smoke flavor from the pit.
It's just more flavor all the way around on this. It's juicier, complexity from the rub, sweetness from the glaze. Nothing's overpowering or out of balance. Right level of salt. Very impressive.
Well, that's the World Championship rib basically right there. It was done on a baby back because it was a higher end baby back. It had more flavor back in the day of 2000 when they were a little more common than cooking a spare.
And clean bone.
Right.
It's almost as if you know what you're doing, Eddie.
Well,
if you stick with it, you might get somewhere.
Might figure it out someday.
Yeah. Wow. I got to go back and compare it to this one. This one still tastes smoky and savory and simple and good. I think if I have to characterize it, 9 times out of 10, I want like a salt and pepper rib. But I think that 1 time out of 10 that I want something else, it would be those.
I could see that. I mean, but
I think for most people though, they're going to be something like 9 times out of 10, 1 time out of 10 maybe.
And it's rich. That's a rich rib.
Yeah.
Normally I would sit down, I could eat a good 6 to 7 bones. You eat 6 or 7 bones of something that rich, you're definitely going to feel it.
Yeah. Erica, what do you think?
My favorite is number 1.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know if she's just trying to spare my feelings here.
I did.
Or I've just learned to cook according to her flavor preferences, but I'll take that win all day long. You can take the world championship.
Favorites, I agree with Dustin. 1 and 4.
Here's the thing that I really wanted to answer today. With a pellet grill, how does it stand up in terms of smoke profile compared to an offset? I think the offset is still smokier, but this still has lots of smoke coming through. Great color. You can set the temperature, you can walk away, kind of at the pinnacle of convenience with like what you can turn out. And so there were some aspects of your cook that went better in your pellet cooker than in my offset. For instance, you got better pullback on the bones.
Right.
Things like being able to char it at the end. Things that I can't do with my grill.
with a touch of a button.
Yeah.
They got done a little ahead of time. I'd be able to go into my warming drawer.
Oh, that was a big one.
Yeah.
I'm really jealous of that.
So I had a whole lot of accessories that you don't get in an offset.
I just have 2 tubes that get welded together.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
and you're manually working it. This here, I was setting in the air conditioning in there, watching my app, and just if I wanted to turn it up or down.
Yeah.
It's
Rub it in.
like-
you can make great ribs
oh
on
my
either
god,
cooker.
yeah, absolutely.
I think it's about what your preference is. I always tell people, if you don't want to ruin your whole day, you shouldn't get an offset. If you still want great food, you probably want to end up with a pellet cooker. This isn't the last test that we're going to do. We're going to do a little bit more. I have more planned to learn about this cooker. Really cool. I had World Championship ribs for the first time in my life, so I'll chalk that up as a win. I want to thank Dustin, and thank you, Eddie, for being here and cooking with us.
Great. It's been a wonderful time. Thank you for the invite to
sure.
take this on.
For sure.
This
was
was great. I loved it.
If you guys enjoyed it, hit the like button down below, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. You can also follow me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and on Patreon, which is how I know Eddie. And if you want to follow Eddie, you can follow him on Instagram at Ed Morin. And then if you want to follow the stuff that he's doing with Cook Shack, we're going to include links for all of his stuff down below, so be sure to check him out. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time. Eddie, those are really freaking good, man. Emma, do you want to eat a rib?
Yes, getting dark.
Yeah, it is getting dark. Emma, what's better, McDonald's or ribs?
A McDonald's.
Oh. Let's see if we can change your mind.
No.
Oh, okay. Emma, which rib do you want to taste?
This one.
Not that one. You want this one, or this one, or this one, or this one?
That one.
This one?
Yes.
Good choice. There you go. What do you think?
Yum.
Yum. You like this, or do you want McDonald's?
McDonald's.
Oh, the ultimate insult. The ultimate insult.